world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to perfect weather conditions in Antigo, Wisconsin, where a capacity crowd has turned out at the Langley County Fairgrounds for the second of our 6 S.O.D.A World Series of off-road televised races. Today, it's the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and if you were with us at our last race at the Ultra Wheel Memorial Day 100 at the Lake Geneva Raceway, you know that weather is very important. We got deluged. In fact, it turned it into a quagmire by the end of the event, but that's not going to happen today. The weatherman says maybe a chance of a late day shower, but we should be getting all the racing action in, and we have a lot for you today. My partner is always working on these events, Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. He's trackside with more. Ivan?
As I mentioned at our last race, one of the most important things for me was to win the first race. Get out there, get that points lead, let the other competitors know you're the guy to beat. The guys that have fallen back here, that got behind in this race, have got to get on the throttle quickly. They can't make mistakes. They got to get the chassis set up. Tires have got to be right. They've got to have a little bit of luck. The other thing they have to do is beat this racing surface. Here at Antigo, real unique. We've got long straightaways. We've got fast, hard clay to deal with. Loose, loamy corners. The guys that don't master this track are not going to make points here today.
Well, let's take a look at the race conditions. The weather right now, very nice. It's 75 degrees, partly sunny skies. A slight chance, though, of an afternoon shower, 40%. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that we don't have what happened back at Lake Geneva Raceway. Let's take a look at this course, Ivan.
Marty, this is the racetrack we're going to need horsepower on. Look at these long straightaways. 1, 2, 3, 4 straightaways. Turn 1 is almost flat out. We're going to need the horsepower here.
Speeds excess of 100 miles an hour on this layout here at Antigo, Wisconsin.
From what I've seen so far today, track conditions are changing here. This track is getting faster. I'd be doing exactly what these other guys are doing. They're looking at tires. 2 to choose from, the all-terrain tire or the mud tire. I think I'd stay away from the mud tire just because there's not enough rubber on the ground. Way too much void area. I'd come to this tire, but yet I'd have a grooving iron out. I'd open it up a little bit just to get around those loose, loamy corners that we've got here. I think the guy that puts the most amount of rubber down on this particular track is going to be the winner.
Class 7S, well, it's 2-wheel drive, production mini or mid-size pickup. The engine is 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters, and they'll put out about 200 horsepower. The starting field, the man who won back at Lake Geneva, Jeff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf at age 29 will be in the 705. Also in the field, Jim Wiggins in the number 786. Scott Taylor, he also drives in Class 8 and the heavy metal competition, a busy man today. He'll be in the 700. The rest of the starting field is on your screen. We should tell you, John Greaves broke a drive shaft in practice. Ivan, he will not make the starting field, and that's going to hurt him in the points.
And that is a shame because John has always been a very, very strong competitor here.
As you can see, a huge field, Class 7S, 4 abreast. This is on board with Jeff Kincaid out the rear of his truck. The green flag drops. We are underway. Oh, somebody stalls on the front row, and I think that might be Kincaid. Looks like he got a horrible start.
He looked like he might have been in neutral or something there, Marty.
Well, as we head for the first corner, that is Jimmy Crowder leading the pack. Oh, and boy, it looks like Scott Taylor gets tagged, and a couple more get tagged behind him.
It's getting tight back there.
Who said this is a non-contact sport? Listen to the crowd in the background.
Jimmy Crowder's got a good lead. Actually, that worked out real good for Jimmy. He could do real well here.
Crowder has a huge lead thanks to all the slam-bang action going on behind him. I'm sure he's not even aware of what was going on back there. He's probably looking in his mirror saying, hey, fellas, where are you? All right, here's the way it sets up. That's Jimmy Crowder in first, Scott Taylor in second, Jeff Kincaid is third, Tom Hockers is currently running fourth. Down the front straightaway, they can flat-foot it through that corner.
That's right. That's a real fast corner for these guys. Down to the mogul. Interesting to see how these trucks work. I'm always interested to see how they work through these rough sections.
Well, Scott Taylor is getting ready to shoot past on the outside. Can he make it stick? He gets around Jimmy Crowder on the outside.
Great move. That was a great pass.
So Crowder gets relegated to second place, and Kincaid and Hockers are now third and fourth. That's Dave Wolf and passing Michael Burke. Let's go back to the start, Ivan. This is on board with Kincaid. He did get a lousy start.
And he gets rammed here for it also. He just gets a little smack in our camera, Marty.
Ooh, yeah, thanks, guys. Well, there goes those pictures for the rest of the day. Let's take another look, see what happens. Yeah, there's the contact with Kincaid. And Wiggins, Jim Wiggins, right in the front of your screen there, stops dead at the starting line. He was fifth in the points coming in. Oh, he's going to be sick.
Oh, that's a real shame because he is, again, is another top competitor.
Well, there is your leader, Scott Taylor, coming down the front straightaway. Second place is Jimmy Crowder. And then we can tell you Tom Hawkers, while we're taking a look at Jim Wiggins, has gotten around Jeff Kincaid. Hawkers in third. Kincaid looks like he's smoking.
Oh, yeah, he's got some kind of a, maybe an oil leak. Possibly he can continue on.
Well, Jimmy Crowder is now coming under attack in second position from Hawkers and Kincaid. It's Hawkers on the left, Crowder on the right. Crowder's going to hold the position through this corner. And, oh, the smoke is really starting to pour out of Kincaid's truck.
He's definitely got a big problem. Interesting to see the two different lines. Did you notice that Jimmy Crowder had a different line? It's a little bit slower the way he went.
The action still nose to tail between those three for second, third, and fourth place. Kincaid doing all he can to stay on the tail and get past Tom Hawkers. Well, there's part of the capacity crowd here at Langlade County Fairgrounds at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. We've got to get out of here for a few minutes. There's your leaders. Stay with us. You can't find a seat in the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Anago, Wisconsin. We are in Class 7S action. And that is Jeff Kincaid currently running third as he passes Jimmy Crowder. Crowder slowing down, and Crowder pulling off to the side of the road. So Jimmy's race appears to be over.
All the way from Tallahassee, Florida. That's a shame.
Ooh, some damage on our leader, Scott Taylor's Ford. Then here is second place, Tom Hawkers. Third is Kincaid. He is still smoking, not as badly as he was just a little while ago.
I think it must be just an oil leak on the head or something, Marty. I think he's right.
Well, there's Joe Dunlop. He was running back in the pack a little bit, and obviously he's got a mechanical malfunction. It's going to park him for the afternoon. Back to the lead pack. Whoa, look at Kincaid, top of your screen. Just for a moment there, you saw him pull off. So Kincaid is now out of this race as well. And Scott Taylor seems to be slowing down. Tom Hawkers, nope, just must be that corner. There is Kincaid, helmet off. The points leader coming into this race, now out of this race, and that is, again, costly. Boy, the points are really going to shake up after this contest.
Well, they really are, Marty.
Here is Tom Hawkers. No, that's Jimmy Bradley, and what a surprise. Bradley moving his way up through the field. He is now passing Alan Walentowski. That's for third place. Whoa! Our leader, Scott Taylor, gets very wide and runs over one of the horse marker barrels.
I don't know why he'd do something like that. He's got a pretty good lead here. Maybe he doesn't know. It could be his radio's not working or something.
Well, there is Tom Hawkers. Hawkers is saying, hey, do that a couple more times and I'll have the lead.
That's right.
Well, what's that hanging down? Is that the pipe?
I think it's just I saw that earlier, and I think it's just the muffler hanging down, Marty.
All right, so nothing. Oh, no! Tom Hawkers is pulled over by the side of the road. So now second place has dropped out. This is becoming quickly a race of attrition, as now Jim Bradley moves into second place as he works his way down on the far end of the race course. I don't know if he can catch Scott Taylor, but the way things are going, he might inherit the position.
Scott Taylor's got a big lead, Marty. It's going to be really tough for anybody to catch him.
Well, Bradley, as the white flag comes out for our leader, there is Scott Taylor. All he has to do is maneuver one more lap around. This is Robert Chastain in the 717 passing Jim Moskalik. That is now for third place on the race course. Whoa, what is our leader doing, Ivan?
I know he's making lots of drivers, Marty. I hope he's got some kind of a braking problem, because he shouldn't be doing that at all.
Oh, wow. Scott Taylor loops it with a huge lead. Let's take another look, see if you can pick it out.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he just got a little hot in the corner, a little slick, a lot of front brake. That's the reason he's lost that, Ronnie, right there. See the front brake? We had way too much front brake in that truck.
The front wheels locked up for sure as he went around. Here comes our leader, despite the spin. One more turn here down the front straightaway, and Scott Taylor will stare straight into the checkered flag and win the Class 7S Championship here at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships in Anago, Wisconsin. A hard-fought race of attrition. Look at the damage on this thing as, yeah, the crowd's into this. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner right after this. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the Chevrolet Off-Road Championships. The final results in Class 7S. Last year, Scott Taylor couldn't even find the leaderboard. This time, he's on top of it. As we move on down through, Jimmy Crowder finishing in 10th after that early start and leading up front. Jeff Kincaid, also our winner, back at round number 1 at Lake Geneva, but now in 11th. Let's go to Victory Lane.
Scott, we didn't have the best of luck in Lake Geneva, but when we come out here, this thing looked like it's on rails. Tell us about it.
Well, we finally got the Jack Roush engine in it, Ivan, and it seems to be running real good. We had a clutch problem over at Lake Geneva in the mud and the rain and all that. You know how that went. So went home, did a little homework. We got our good motor in it now, and that's where we've been having our failures in the past. So with you know, some cooperation out of Jack and Ford Motor Company and Goodrich, it's making it all possible once again.
Well, take a look at the point standings. The DNF for Scott Taylor in round number 1. Here in the second round, he is now in a tie for third with Michael Burke and Jeff Kincaid. As you look on down through the list, John Greaves not making it to the starting line hurts him badly. He is now tied for 8th with Jim Bradley with 16 points. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Crandon, Wisconsin. We're here today for the True Value Spring Run. It's all part of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. Hello again, everyone. Temperatures are on the cool side. The winds are gusting as high as 40 miles an hour today, but it hasn't dawned on this crowd here at Crandon, Wisconsin, as we're ready for a great day of off-road racing. All right, now let's focus our attention on Class 7S, where Paul Corning and Robert Chastain have a 1-point lead over Alan Walentowski. But the big surprise in this class, the man who finished second in the points last year, John Greaves, is tied for 8th. Working with me on the broadcast is Ivan the Iron Man Stewart. He's back in the pits with John Greaves. Ivan?
Thanks, Marty. John Greaves just had a disastrous day at Anigo. During a practice, the drive shaft broke, came up, hit the fuel cell, wasn't able to start the race, put him way back in the points. Johnny, you're in 8th place points. What are you going to do to get back in this points race?
Well, you know, we had some real problems at Anigo, and I think we got them straightened out, and we came to Crandon here with some new guns. We got a new motor, and we're ready. We're going to win this race. You know, I'm fired up. I got a point to prove. I came off last year second behind Spencer, and I know I can win, so we're going to go out here and we're going to win this race.
Well, I tell you, watching this guy and his driving style, believe me, I think he can still win this championship.
Well, thanks, Ivan, and you can see by looking at the flags, the wind is brisk, up to 40-mile-an-hour gusts, 65% chance of rain, and the temperature may be 65 degrees, but with that wind, it is a bit on the cool side. Now, let's take a look at this layout, Ivan.
Marty, this is one of the fastest tracks that we run on. It's a long track, 2 miles long. The Oklahoma Land Rush start, you've got to get down to turn 1 quick and efficient, get around there, otherwise you're going to go into Parsons Pond. Elevation changes, only 280-degree corners. It looks like a great track, though, Marty. Look at the size of this rock. This is the kind of rock that I would be worried about here at Crandon, believe me. That thing would really hurt if it hit you upside the head or take a radiator out, plus they give you a flat tire. But the only thing you can do with a rock like that, try and drive around it. That rock will give just about anybody's tire a flat. The tire choice seems to be the mud terrain. The reason the guys are choosing this particular tire is because of these loose, tight corners. They want to get drive out of the corners. If it were me, I would be doing what the guys in the background are doing, taking even more rubber out to give me even more bite, more drive out of those corners. We know we got to have horsepower here at Crandon, but if you don't get that horsepower to the ground, you're not going to win any of these races, believe me.
As we get ready for race action in Class 7S, yes, we get those trucks good and clean. And 7S, 2-wheel drive, production mini or mid-size pickups, 4-cylinder engines, 2.5 liters, the maximum you can go there, and they'll generate about 200 horsepower. Let's take a look now at the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. Alongside will be John Greaves. This is a must-win situation for the 26-year-old from De Pere, Wisconsin. Michael Burke from Heartland will be in the number 706. Jim Wiggins, Dixon, Illinois is home. He's 25. He'll be in the number 786. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin, in the number 705 Ford. And then Dave Wolf from Menasha, Wisconsin. At age 31, we'll watch him drive in the number 766. The rest of the starting field, Alan Walentowski, Bill Waterstrat, Robert Chastain, Jim Bradley, on down through the list. Now, with only 200 horsepower, these trucks obviously not as fast as the big monsters in Class 8 and Class 4, Ivan, but some of our best racing action here is the green flag drops.
Oh, it really is, Marty. This is when you don't have much horsepower to deal with. You've got to get those lines. You've got to be efficient, and that's exactly what these guys are doing here, trying to get the hardest part of the track they can get to.
Defending champion in this series, Spencer Lowe, is not racing this year, so the championship is up for grabs. And who's going to take control? Well, we'll find out soon as we come down through the first turn. And it looks like John Greaves, in that must-win situation, has jumped out to the early lead.
John has gotten really serious. He's, like you say, he's got to win this race. He's got to get back in the championship battle. And he got a great start, Marty.
Jim Wiggins in second, Scott Taylor third. Fourth is Billy Beck. Jeff Kincaid is fifth. Down through the gravel pit. Whoa, and Taylor trying to duck inside underneath Jim Wiggins as Wiggins goes high.
He's got a different line there. Scott Taylor's always used a different line. I always like his approach to a track because he's always willing to experiment. He'll get down low, he gets up high. Here he's trying to get underneath Wiggins.
I'll tell you, the biggest thing that's made a difference for Scott Taylor has been the addition of a Roush Racing engine.
That has helped you, no doubt about it. Nothing like horsepower, Marty, and he's making horsepower.
Well, he was nowhere to be found in the top 5 at our first race of the year, and here he is winning at round 2 after putting that Roush Racing engine in that 7S Ford. And so far, looking very strong here as he is battling for second place. John Greaves in the Toyota out front.
Interesting, 2 different lines here. Now, John's way up against the trees on the left-hand side of the track, and some of the guys will go way off to the right.
There is Wiggins. He likes the right side line. Taylor over on the right side of the screen will come in third. So this time Wiggins gets some ground and picks up some room, as there is a battle now for third place between Kincaid and Taylor get together.
That was off the close, Marty. They're going to make it through here. He got by. That was a good pass. That was close, though.
So Kincaid takes over third position, moving Taylor back to fourth.
Again, these guys are all the time. They haven't got the horsepower that the guys in the Class 4s and the 8s got. So looking for that hard ground. They're trying to keep the tires right on the hardest part of the track. And that's the real secret here.
Here's the battle tightening for second place. That is Wiggins holding off Kincaid and Scott Taylor. Now, Wiggins has 18 class victories in his racing career. He's won the 1600 SO.D.A championship in 1991 and again in 92. And whoa, he gets a little wide there, opens the door, but nobody can close it.
Can't quite get it. Scott Taylor's really getting aggressive here. He just can't quite get by.
Let's go back to this replay where these two come together.
Oh, that is close. He come down. They're lucky somebody didn't get upside down on that one, Marty.
So the action now continues. Let's pick up the battle for fifth. That is Jimmy Crowder doing double duty. You saw him running Class 8 as well. And right behind him is Dave Wolf. So those two going after each other for fifth place on the race course. Back up front, this is John Greaves coming around points leader Robert Chastain. Chastain in trouble.
And this is, again, John Greaves has got to do well here. If he's going to get in this points race, he's got to have a good race.
So Greaves passes and puts the points leader a lap down. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll conclude the Class 7S battle at the True Value Spring Run. And Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value Spring Run. And that is our leader in Class 7S, John Greaves, heading for the pits.
Oh, Marty, that's a shame. He just can't have any luck at all this year.
You pit, you lose. This is a sprint race, folks. You go wire to wire. And him pulling into the pit lane now hands the lead to Scott Taylor. And that's the reason why. I wonder what happened to Jeff Kincaid. Kincaid is out of the race. He's pulled off the side of the course.
In one lap, Scott Taylor went from third to first.
So Scott Taylor with that brand new Roush motor, and boy, what a difference that power plant has made, has moved to the head of the class. And here's another contender. Billy Beck was running well. He is now out of the race, and there's steam from underneath that engine compartment. This is Jim Wiggins getting around lap traffic, Michael Burke. Now Wiggins is in second place as a result of all the breakage. Battle for third is Jimmy Crowder and Dave Wolf. Crowder still in front of Wolf.
Jimmy Crowder comes all the way from Tallahassee, Florida. Comes out here, runs all the races in this series. It's a great competitor.
And he does not have major sponsorship. He does it on his own nickel. Now this is John Greaves. He's back out on course, but he's way back in sixth place. And boy, this spells disaster for his points championship hopes.
It does. When he had the hood off, he's obviously has got a motor problem.
The battle right now for third place continues. Jimmy Crowder and Dave Wolf basically nose to tail. They head down the backstretch one more time.
What a beautiful track this is. Look at the elevation changes. This is just a fantastic race course.
Here is Robert Chastain having a horrible day. He is the current points leader. He's in ninth.
He's in ninth place. Plymouth, Wisconsin, Robert is from.
Up through turn two, and that motor sounds off-song a little bit, but boy, here's one that does not sound off-song. Scott Taylor flying through turn one.
Hey, Marty, that's how you tell the horsepower. When they're screaming like this, that RPM is up there around 8,000 or 9,000 RPM, they're making horsepower.
Well, the other thing I noticed is look at how little side-to-side tail action he's getting. He's getting a lot of good side bite.
Well, you got a truck set up well. He's got the right tire combination, obviously. He's come around, and Scott is a great driver.
The number 722 of Jim Bradley pulling off the side of the race course. Another victim of attrition. We've had a lot today.
We really have. I'm not sure why, Marty. I don't know if it's overheating problems or something we're having here.
The battle for third is still continuing. Here is the final lap now. This is Alan Walentowski. Lap traffic in front of our race leader. Look out as Scott Taylor touches him, but no major contact.
He needs a little patience if he doesn't get too aggressive. Or Scott's done that in the past, but I watched him get a little too aggressive and make those kind of mistakes.
Jim Wiggins, second place. He, too, will be on his final lap, but a long way to go to catch race leader. In fact, he's going to need Scott Taylor to break to have a chance of winning this race.
I don't believe he'd ever catch him now, Marty. There's Scott Taylor coming through the left-hand side of the course.
And John Greaves off to the right of your screen, about to be put another lap down. So what a dismal day for Greaves. What a great day for Scott Taylor.
And Scott Taylor just trying to get to the checkered flag now. His truck is working great. Just get down to the checkered flag.
Well, he still comes through a little wider that time than he normally does through turn number 1, but in total control. That Roush motor, that's not cheap, but boy, it sure has paid off.
It really has. And not only does it have to make horsepower, Marty, these motors have got to be dependable. They've got to run a long time under tough conditions.
Well, he is closing on John Greaves. Remember, Greaves struggling, trying to pick up whatever points he can, and he gets lapped again by race leader Scott Taylor, and that's got to be just a frustrating feeling for John Greaves, knowing that his championship hopes are dwindling with each second.
All year long he struggled. That's a shame because he has a ton of talent, and I really suspected him to win a championship this year, actually.
He finished second last year. The checkered flag will fall for the second straight time in this man's favor. That is Scott Taylor. Belvedere, Illinois is cheering as their man finishes first here at the True Value Spring Run in Crandon, Wisconsin. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner. Stay with us. Scott Taylor wins for the second time in a row. That's going to help him a great deal in the points. John Greaves needed a win. He did not get it. Robert Chastain, finishing in 9th, is going to be hurt in the points championship as well. And Jeff Kincaid's championship hopes are damaged with an 11th place finish. Scott Taylor, 2 in a row, and that gives you the lead in the points championship.
How about that, Marty? It looks like Roush's plans and figured out what he did on the motor's working out.
Tell me the difference. I mean, you mentioned it in our last race at Anago, but the performance, what a step up.
Yeah, Roush Industries are pretty sharp. They've done some pretty neat stuff to the stock parts that we've got to run, and we got an edge on them right now. Everything's working good. That was our problem for the last couple of years with these motors. And now they've done some work on the head and the camshaft development, and boy, it's really working.
It certainly is. Second win in a row, and Scott Taylor vaults into the points lead by 6 over Alan Walentowski. Jim Wiggins moves up to 4th with that second place finish with 27. Now, as you look at the rest of the point standings, it turns out to be a very big day for Jim Wiggins. Not only does he finish second in the race, but he also had some plans for his fiancée-to-be. We were sort of invited to eavesdrop with Jim and Lisa Vandermissen. Listen to this.
Lisa, I love you. And will you marry me?
National television. Lisa?
Yeah.
All right. So we played a small part in not only bringing you racing action for the day, but Lisa's quivering hand as they ride off after finishing second in the race, but first in the hearts of each other. Congratulations to both of you and best wishes. Let's all summer long have been inundating this region. We're no exception here, just northeast of Green Bay in Luxembourg. Ivan, it's a challenge for the crews to get this course ready for racing. It's also going to be a challenge for the drivers.
Well, it really is, Marty, because this being so tight and so twisty and so wet, if I was racing this particular race, I would definitely want to be in a four-wheel drive. This is the one for a four-wheel drive.
All right, now this is the shortest track we run on all season long. Why Jack Flannery's style would be different in his Class 8, he's leading in that championship points battle, and Class 4 where he's leading as well. What's the difference in driving style that we should be looking for?
Well, when the conditions get this slick, Marty, you've got the front end of a four-wheel drive car turning, driving the front end around so it pulls around the corners, opposed to the two-wheel drive where you have to flick it. And sometimes you can't even turn the steering wheel that wants to push if it gets that muddy. So it's going to be a real challenge for these guys, especially in two-wheel drive.
So classes 8 and 7S, we should really keep our eyes on. Driving technique's going to be the key.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
Well, let's take a look at the weather for today's race. Temperature 80 degrees, partly sunny skies. We have only a 20% chance of rain, and things look like they will begin to dry out, and hopefully that'll spell good news for all these racers. Ivan, let's take a look at this layout.
Well, again, Marty, this being the tightest and shortest track we do, I see several places that are going to be challenging. Across the double jump to finish, a hard left-hand corner right there that's going to get chewed up. That's going to be really, really tight and a challenge to get through there clean. That's where the four-wheel drives are going to do well. Then back on the backside, if we get back about turn number 4. Right in that area we got highlighted, there's some big moguls developing back in there, and that's really going to be tough.
Now, with all the rain this summer in the Midwest, it's been hard to get dry track conditions, and tire combinations are critical. Let's go to Ivan Stewart.
Even though this track looks dry and dusty, it really isn't. It's really a tricky, unique track, and the corners are the secret. They're loamy, they're loose, they're spongy. The tire choice has been this mud terrain tire. This is a stock tire, this is a modified. A rear tire, what they're doing is taking lots and lots of this rubber out. The reason they do that, they want this tire to dig and churn, get down to that hard soil and drive to the next corner. That's a rear tire. Front tire, putting big, long lateral grooves around the circumference. And what that does, that enables the guy to dive into this corner, stick the front end, power slide out, and accelerate to the next corner. That's the only way you're going to win here at Luxembourg.
Time now for Class 7S to roll out onto the race course, and this a good-sized field. And the points battle here really interesting as well. 6 points separates first and second place. Alan Walentowski behind Scott Taylor, and then on down through the team of Corning and Chastain with 33, Jim Wiggins in fourth with 27, and look at how close it is all the way down through the 10th position. Things still up for grabs with 3 races, including this one here today. On board with Scott Taylor, and there is the view. Look out, getting real close.
That is really close, Marty. 2-wheel drive, production mini truck, mid-size pickups, 4 cylinders, maximum 2.5 liters, 200 horsepower. A lot of fun to watch these trucks run.
And here is the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor, yes, he did run in Class 8, and he is running again in 7S. Alan Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin at age 25. Very quiet behind the scenes, but doing very well on the race course. Robert Chastain from Plymouth, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 717. Jim Wiggins from Dixon, Illinois. He'll be in the number 786. On down through the field, Bill Waterstrat from Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is his hometown. At age 30, he wants to do well in front of the home folks. Tom Hawkers from nearby Greenleaf at age 29 in the number 705. And there is the rest of this very big Class 7S starting field. Now, again, these are rear-wheel drive trucks, 2-wheel drive, Ivan. And what should we be looking for?
Well, this is going to be, again, a real tight left-hand corner coming up. They're off. Getting through this first corner is going to be the trick, Marty.
4 abreast. Oh, Johnny Greaves gets into Dave Vandenelsen, and then another truck goes up and over the 705 of Tom Hawkers. And look at Dave Vandenelsen gets the raw end of that deal. He's all the way off course at the back of the pack. Greaves ends up being the beneficiary as he is in front of Jim Wiggins.
I like his style, Marty. John just drove in there and made it happen. That was a good move.
Take another look at this. Now, you may like it. I bet you the driver in the number 731, Dave Vandenelsen, didn't like it very much. He almost goes over.
Marty, that's off-road racing, and I think that wouldn't be a penalty. I believe that's just good aggressive racing.
Well, the two of them get hooked there. Oh, and then Bill Waterstrat gets into the 731 of Dave Vandenelsen, and that's what spins him all the way around to dead last. Now, here it is. Top place goes to John Greaves. Second place to Jim Wiggins. There's third Jimmy Crowder, and then Jim Bradley in the 722 being pressured by Scott Taylor.
Scott gives him a little nudge going into that corner. He says, get out of the way, buddy. Here we come.
Oh, and he makes the pass as you're on board with Scott Taylor. What a view.
That is a great shot.
And there is race leader John Greaves, and he's banging on the steering wheel and heading for the pits, Ivan.
Oh, that's too bad. He's just had a tough year this year, Marty.
I don't know what was wrong, but it means now that Jim Wiggins is now your leader, and then Jimmy Crowder there in second place, and Scott Taylor closing on Crowder is in third.
Scott Taylor with that aggressive style. We'll see what he can do with it on this tight course.
Wiggins opening up the lead. Oh, Taylor gets up on the bicycle. Crowder running 2 trucks as well. A lot more of the drivers are doing that now, Ivan, running either a Class 8 and a 7S combination or a Class 4 and a 7S.
They do, and you know that gives them a little bit of advantage, Marty. When they come into this course, they know where the bad spots are, how loose the corners are, so that's a fun advantage, to be honest.
Now we're heading back. That is the battle for 5th for Al Walentowski and Dave Wolf. Walentowski in the 712. Jeff Kincaid also getting into this mix. Kincaid in the 707, so this battle really heating up. Back on board again with Scott Taylor. Oh, what a view. He's just gotten around Jimmy Crowder. That is Crowder. So now it is Scott Taylor in second place.
Listen to that Jack Roush motor scream. I don't know what RPM he runs at, but it's got to be up there close to 8, Marty.
Well, he has done so well since putting that motor in this 7S. He won at Anago, and he also won at the Spring Run. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have more of the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Off-Road Challenge. Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. There's your leader, Jim Wiggins in the 786. Scott Taylor closing quickly. It's two Fords going after each other. Whoa! That's going to slow it down.
He can't be doing that. That cost him time. And let's just let Jim get that much farther away.
Now remember, he came in. Oh, and I see a pump of smoke.
I know. I see a little, look like radiator water coming out of there, Marty.
Now a battle for fourth. Jim Bradley and Tom Hockers. Hockers in the 705. These guys nose to tail. Bradley has a co-rider on board. Does that help or hurt a driver?
No, I think it hurts, to be honest, Marty. You don't need that extra weight, to be honest.
Back up front, Scott Taylor has reeled in race leader Jim Wiggins.
So let's keep an eye on that engine because he got a bad start. He's been back in the dust.
Oh, and he gets into Wiggins and spins him around, but Wiggins manages to hold off.
See, all this time, Scott is getting mud in that radiator, and I think he's going to have a heating problem. You can see steam coming out right there.
It is. It's coming out of the overflow vent at the end. Bill Waterstrat there in fifth, and he has got a door hanging open, and that is going to get him, yes, that will get him a black flag, and you saw it wave there. So he's going to have to work his way around and slow down to the pit lane and get that fixed. Oh! Whoa. And Taylor gets in and spins out Jim Wiggins.
I don't think he can get away with that.
Oh, well, I don't know if you can get away with that either, because now his radiator is going to be cooking.
I think that was probably, that's going to be looked at as an incident that he's going to get penalized for, I believe.
Oh, and a rollover. That is Michael Burke right in front of race leader Scott Taylor as he goes over, quickly climbing out of the truck, and he is okay. Let's take a look at it again.
Well, Marty, I can't tell if he got into him or not, but the end result is exactly the same, I'll tell you.
Well, there's a lip there that he either went over or he got an assist from Scott Taylor. As you said, end result still the same. He is out of this race. Now here is Scott Taylor, and back on board as he is moving around lap traffic.
I hope he can make this race. I keep seeing that steam coming out of the radiator in his truck. He's got a lot of mud in that radiator, and I think he's got a hot motor, Marty.
Well, there is Scott Taylor, and that is Dave Wolf. Lap traffic, he has gotten around Wolf and moving down, and here is Jim Wiggins. Thank goodness, one lap to go. His radiator has got to be getting warm.
That'll do it.
Taylor, boy, and the steam is getting worse.
I'm sure he's aware of that. He's watching the gauge, and I'm sure he's cooling a little bit now. One lap to go. He's saying, let's get on back to the finish line.
I'll tell you, I would not want to be the one to have to replace that Jack Roush motor. This motor has been the difference in him not being in the points battle and currently leading the points battle.
Boy, and he does scream that engine.
Well, on the final lap, in fact, that's the final turn as he'll make his way onto the oval, and it's a big sweeper as he comes around. He'll be looking square into the checkered flag, and for the third race in a row, Scott Taylor wins in Class 7S. We're at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge. We'll talk to our winner right after this. Back at the Chevrolet Off-Road Challenge in Luxembourg, Wisconsin. Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. Let's take a look at the final results in Class 7S. And with this win, Scott Taylor is going to widen his lead. Remember, it was 6 points over Al Walentowski heading into today's race. Walentowski finishing in 8th. And the man that we thought was going to be a contender all season long, John Greaves, ended up in 12th. Let's go down to victory lane with Ivan Stewart.
Well, Scott, you're having a great year. A good start. Started in second row. Looked like you played traffic well. You got a decent start and chased down Jim Wiggins. The only thing you could see you made a couple mistakes. You got her hiked a couple times when you got a little anxious. Tell me about it.
Well, the track is real dry, or real tacky. It's drying out from all the rain we've had, and the corners are getting real sticky, and they're hooking up too good in the back end. You get into the turns and they're bicycling. You got to be careful. You can't pitch them sideways yet. The track's not quite ready for it.
Well, you made it work for you. When you caught Jim Wiggins, the way it looked to me, you got a little close and bumped him and may have got him sideways. That wasn't intentional, I'm assuming.
No, and I got to go over and apologize. It wasn't an intentional shot. Jimmy's having a little bit of trouble with his truck handling. The suspension isn't quite working right, and it's sticking up. And when he hits the second time, he gets sideways, and it evidently is ducking him to the inside, sideways in front of me. And it's not an intentional deal. In fact, I did everything I could to stop from hitting him. But once you touch, it kind of hooks up, and you start playing dog and cat. You kind of hook up and go around. But anyway, it wasn't an intentional thing, because when you're hitting somebody, you're slowing yourself down. You'd rather slingshot around and be clean.
Well, let's take a look at the Pro Series point standings. Scott Taylor now leads Jim Wiggins by 17. Now remember, you get 20 points for a victory, so this is a commanding lead with only 2 races yet to go as we look on down through, and it's just amazing to me. John Greaves, we thought he would contend at the season's beginning, but he is tied for 10th with 26. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to the I-96 Speedway in Lake Odessa, Michigan for the True Value Great Northern Challenge. It's all part of the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, and as we head to the final 2 races in the Pro Series Points Showdown, Ivan, you talked about it. This is an extremely fast layout.
It is, Mark. It's a little over a mile track, but one of the interesting things is going to be the start. The guys start on an off-camber, existing sprint car track. This high-speed sweeper off to the right. A lot of action, 80 miles an hour. 3 different 180-degree corners here. Getting loose is gnarly. A lot of action is going to happen right there.
Great combination of speed and corners. Now we're getting ready for Class 7S, and that is Scott Taylor. Now, he is the current points leader in this category. You can take a look. He holds a 17-point margin over Jim Wiggins. Al Walentowski is third with 42. Now, we talked about strategy with Scott Taylor before the race.
Today's driving strategy, I've thought about it. These guys are getting a little tired of me beating them, and you know, they're all looking at me saying, what's it going to take? So we've had 4 weeks off. I got to believe they've been working, they've been thinking, they've been tweaking. So have we. We're going to get in that truck and we're going to run it just as hard as we can run it. We've got a point to prove, we've got a series to win, and that's what I'm here to do.
Marty, let's take a look and see what a Class 7 is. 2-wheel drive production, mini or mid-size pickups. Got to be 4 cylinders, maximum of 2.5 liters. They make about 200 horsepower.
Let's take a look at the Chevrolet starting field. Scott Taylor, the points leader and winner of the championship last year. Jim Wiggins in pursuit. He trails by 17 points. And Jeff Kincaid from Crandon, Wisconsin, age 28. He'll be in the 707. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin. He'll be in the number 705. Paul Cornick from Marytown, Wisconsin. He's also in this starting field and doing very well this season in the points championship. One man who is not is John Greaves. He's in this lineup, but he has had a very tough season in his Toyota. On board right now with Scott Taylor out the front of his Ford Ranger. Green flag drops. Wiggins on the right side of your screen in the blue and yellow 786 gets the jump and takes the early lead. That's Tom Hockers in second and John Greaves third.
He made a good move. If you watch that start, he got off on the right-hand side and pulled up real well.
On board again with Scott Taylor, and he comes together with Dave Wolf.
I think they come together. It looks to me like maybe Dave came in on him, Marty.
Either that or Scott gets into Dave. Either way, the result is Wolf is spun all the way around, and now we head down as Tom Hockers tries to make a pass on the outside, and he goes into the barrier, and that is Scott Taylor, the third truck involved.
Well, see, this is that same corner we've had so much trouble with before. It's real slick, and then it goes into the real loose stuff, so he just slid right into it.
And Hockers having a tough time getting away from Joe Dunlap. Dunlap's the 799. Let's take another look at it.
Well, I tell you what, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's slick, it's real slick. The guys are going way too hot. Boom, right into that wall, and there's Scott Taylor. I tell you, if I were Scott Taylor, I think, Marty, I'd be much more careful than that.
Take a listen here as we look at it again.
Ooh, that was a hard hit, I'll tell you.
I'm surprised he's able to keep going, and boy, what a change that would have been if he would not be able to continue, because Jim Wiggins needs to win this race, and that is John Greaves right behind him.
And John is also aggressive. He's, John, I look for John. He'd take a move on the outside. If he passes him here, it's going to be one good move.
Now remember, Greaves finished second at Lake Geneva, and since then hasn't been able to find the finish line, and he ducks to the inside and takes the lead.
He's the same story. He starts off strong, he's fast, he's aggressive, he's an excellent driver in my opinion. Pitches the truck around real well, but then he has some kind of a mechanical problem. Continually some kind of a little problem that bites him.
Is this a case where he doesn't have the cubic dollars to match the cubic talent that he's got?
Well, in my opinion, it is, really. He could use some more dollars to work with. A little more sponsorship would help, because I think he's got a tremendous amount of potential as far as the driver.
So he may be pushing the equipment a little further than the equipment can handle right now.
That's exactly what I think, Marty. He's got a tremendous amount of talent.
There is Jeff Kincaid. Now he is currently running third and back on board with Scott Taylor. He is fifth with all that damage.
He's got hood damage, but it sounds like the engine's running well. I think all this stuff is only cosmetic. The engine sounds good. There's no shimmy in the steering wheel. I think that's all it is, Marty.
Well, he's closing on Paul Corning, who is in 4th, and it looks like he's going to take him.
Yeah, he is. He looks like he moved right to the inside of him. He's coming up to this hard left-hand corner. Let's see if he gets by him.
Well, he's out of sight, and yes, he is well past him, so Scott Taylor's moved into 4th.
But the only thing I'd be worried about here, Marty, would be possibly a radiator, oil cooler, something like that.
Well, so far, it looks like Scott Taylor is able to continue in fine fashion at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. There's the leaderboard. Back with more after this. Back at the True Value Great Northern Challenge, Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart. That is leader Johnny Greaves. But whoa, listen to that sound, Ivan.
He has blown something or something has happened. Look at the underneath there. Drive shaft flopping around there, Marty. He's got some kind of a drivetrain, drive shaft problem or something.
So the misfortunes of John Greaves in Class 7S continue, and he is out of this race again while he was up front. It has happened many times. Jim Wiggins takes over the lead. That is Jeff Kincaid in 2nd.
And they're just trying to get through these, you know, these tires here have always worried me a little bit. They try and get through those tires down to this hard left-hand corner. This is that tricky corner again, Marty.
You mean the tires that mark the corner? It's a little bit deceiving from our camera angle, as it looks closer to the course than it actually is because of the depth perception. Now this is down the fast straightaway on the interior portion of the course, heading for turn 3, and it looks like Kincaid is closing.
He is, and he look like they're just protecting the line. He's going to get in the outside, see if he can't get a little bit better drive out there.
Yeah, Wiggins taking the defensive line on the inside, and it may hurt him here because he didn't come off the corner very well.
He lost a little bit of speed. That's the danger, and he's going to... And he got by him. That's a good move. That was a perfect move to make in that particular corner.
Passes him on the triple jump, and Jeff Kincaid is your new leader down into turn 4.
He's plenty aggressive. He's going to be a little bit more protective of the line, and let's see how he can do.
Well, there is Scott Taylor, and Ivan the Hood comes flying off. He's in 3rd.
I'm sure he's probably glad to get rid of that. Sometimes it can be real frustrating flying up and down in front of your face there.
And flying through in 4th place through the triple jumps, that was Tom Hawkers. Now there was Jeff Kincaid, and look at the margin between 1st and 2nd place. Wiggins has lost contact.
He has. He's going to have to really get with it if he's going to win this race.
Wiggins 4 times in the top 5 this year in 1993. Boy, he really needs a win, and he needs Scott Taylor to have some mechanical difficulties. Now here's Joe Dunlap and Paul Corning. That's a battle for 4th place, and Dunlap's going to take it.
Pulls around the outside. He gets out in that soft stuff, but he's going to get good drive out there, I think. We'll see if it's sometimes it works for him, sometimes it doesn't. It started to dry out a little bit, Marty. I think it's getting to be a better line.
Down the front straightaway in front of the grandstands here at the I-96 Speedway. Whoa! Look out! Tom Hawkers just slides off the course through turn number 1, that fast sweeper.
We see these 2-wheel drive trucks, and again, these are 2-wheel drives. He got out in that loose stuff and slid right off the course.
Now this is Kincaid, followed by Wiggins, and then Scott Taylor off way into the distance in 3rd, and we are on the final lap. So it looks as though the race for Class 7S in the Pro Series Points Championship will go down to the last race of the season, but it is going to be Scott Taylor in command.
But Scott Taylor's made up a lot of ground on these guys. He's really pulled up on them, Marty.
Right now, I'm sure he's going to be very happy to escape with 3rd place points after that crash in the very first lap of this race. Now that is lap traffic in front of our winner, Jeff Kincaid, and Kincaid's going to get the checkered flag right here as he takes the win on the outside to claim the 7S race here at the True Value Great Northern Challenge. We'll come back to talk with our winner and update the points championship right after this. Well, let's check the final results at the True Value Great Northern Challenge in Class 7S. Jeff Kincaid snapped Scott Taylor's 3-race winning streak, taking his 2nd victory of the year, and Ivan Stewart's in victory lane with the winner.
Well, Jeff, you really had the Valvoline Ford really hooked up today. It looked like it was running just fantastic.
Yeah, it run great today. We didn't know what to run for tires today. And we was asking little Joe from Goodyear, and we was asking and asking. Nobody really know for sure. But little Joe set us up with a pair of them. They hooked up pretty good. We got spun around in the first corner here, let them all go, but we got them back right away. They hooked up and went real good.
Well, let's check the Class 7S Pro Series point standings because Scott Taylor holds a 15-point margin now over Jim Wiggins. It is a 2-man race, 15 points. Remember, you get 20 for a victory in each round. So it is going to be up to Wiggins to force the issue at the last round, which will be the True Value World Championships coming from Crandon, Wisconsin.
ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Crandon, Wisconsin for the True Value World Championships. It's all part of the S.O.D.A World Series of off-road racing. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ivan the Iron Man Stewart, and we have champions to crown in 3 more categories today.
Well, Marty, this is the long one. 2 miles in length, lots of fast straightaways, 2 key elements in this course. You've got to get around turn 1 quickly and efficiently. If you don't get around it efficiently, you can end up parts of the pond. The other is the gravel pit. A lot of passing down here. You've got to get that 180-degree corner efficiently.
This 2-mile course has a lot of elevation changes as well. It is a great layout for spectators. As you can see, the capacity crowd on hand. And what would it be, a weekend of racing without somebody starting the wave? Well, we're getting ready now for Class 7S action, another championship up at stake, and you can see final preparations are being made to the 2-mile layout here at Crandon, Wisconsin.
Let's take a look and see what a Class 7S is. 2-wheel drive production, mini or mid-size pickup. 4 cylinders only, maximum of 2.5 liters, about 200 horsepower.
Here is the way the Pro Point standings shape up heading into the final round. Scott Taylor, Jim Wiggins, the only 2 that have a chance at winning the crown. Jeff Kincaid, Tom Hockers round out the top 4. Scott Taylor is the man to beat. He'll be in the number 700 from Belvedere, Illinois. Can he make it 2 championships in 1 season? Jim Wiggins, he's the man who is saying, no way, you got to get past me. Jeff Kincaid, right here in Crandon, Wisconsin, he knows this layout very well. Tom Hockers from Greenleaf, Wisconsin, in the 705 would like to cap off his year with a win, as would Alan Walentowski from Pickerel, Wisconsin, at the age of 25. Paul Corning from Marytown, Wisconsin, has had a consistently good run all season long. Jimmy Crowder hurt in the points championship when he was not able to make the last race because of motor problems. And John Greaves, what a disappointing season. He could cap it off with a win here from De Pere, Wisconsin. As we take a look at the starting field, you got to wonder what's going through John Greaves' head. He has done very well in Class 8 in the 2 races that he's been in that truck, but all season long, he starts well, but hasn't been able to bring that Toyota to the finish line, Ivan.
You're right, Marty. He just can't put it together. He gets good starts. He leads races. He just cannot make it to the winner's circle.
That was on board with Scott Taylor. We have an in-car camera with him out the front as well, and the green flag has dropped. And who is going to lead into turn number 1? Look at the left-hand part of your screen. It looks like the Toyota. Here comes John Greaves. Can he make it stick?
He does. He gets a great start again. Let's see what he can do with it.
Down through turn 1, Greaves, the early leader. A lot of passing going on in the pack behind, but so far, everybody clean, making it through. Nice job by this big field in Class 7S.
Scott Taylor's right on. If he's going to, I guarantee you, Scott won't let him get too far away.
It is John Greaves, Scott Taylor, Jim Wiggins, Tom Hockers, and then Dave Vandenelsen. And look at this action as they are 3 abreast. That is Kincaid trying to work his way down low.
He tried that low position. I don't think it made him any headway, though, Marty.
Looked like rush hour at the old freeway. Got a smoking truck there, but it doesn't look to be too serious at this point. We'll keep our eye on it. Remember, Jim Wiggins must finish ahead of Scott Taylor. He is 15 points behind. You get 20 for a win. So Wiggins also needs help from some of these other competitors. Great action going on as Kincaid's trying to work his way around 2 slower vehicles.
That's Jimmy Crowder, all the way from Tallahassee, Florida.
Now that is a battle for 7th place on the race course. Take a look here. This is Paul Corning and Jim Bradley in the 722. That's Bradley getting sideways and getting pushed all the way around. And Joe Dunlap gets into the tangle as well. Some damage to the front end of the 722 of Jim Bradley. But so far, so good for this man as John Greaves looks to break what has been a long dry spell in victory lane for this young man.
He can just keep it going, but I tell you, Scott Taylor's still there. All 4 of these trucks are running pretty good together here, Marty.
Now remember, Jeff Kincaid won the 1st round at Lake Geneva and round 5 at Lake Odessa. Sandwiched in between, as we get an interval time between 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, were 3 victories by Scott Taylor. Now to 2nd place Taylor, it is about 4.5 seconds, and to 3rd place, 6.97 seconds. So this man, Scott Taylor, in the driver's seat, and now you're in the driver's seat as well.
Marty, this is interesting to note right here. Remember in the earlier shot in the Class 8 truck how he was fighting the steering wheel. Now he just sits back with ease and kind of glides it through the corners.
Well, he's got an easy time of it right now, but we are told that John Greaves is not going to get an easy time of it. He was ruled to
to have jumped the start, and he is getting a black flag, Ivan, and he is to pull over this time.
Boy, I tell you what, Marty, there's always luck. The element of luck is always in all these races, but I tell you, it hasn't been on his side, believe me.
So he pulls over to get a stop-and-go penalty. In fact, he's pulling over and just stopping. So John Greaves appears to be out of this race. Scott Taylor is your new leader, and that is bad news for Jim Wiggins in his quest to take away the points championship from Scott Taylor. Stay with us. We'll be back. Who's going to claim that trophy? It's either going to be first or second place, Taylor or Wiggins. We'll find out at the True Value World Championship. Marty Reed and Ivan Stewart back with you at the True Value World Championships, Crandon, Wisconsin, and there is your leader in Class 7S, Scott Taylor.
Marty, we've seen him all year long. He's led races, and he makes it look so easy. Do you remember, he has 20 years experience out here. Just a tremendous amount of experience and talent.
It's Jeff Kincaid on the left, and it looks like he's going to pass and take over second place from Jim Wiggins, and that spells doom for Wiggins.
And I also see smoke coming out of his truck.
So whether or not Kincaid can hold on to second will still be a question mark, as he's got heavy smoke, and it looks like it's from the right rear of the car.
That could be a tire rub. Now, you know, a lot of times it could be just oil getting flung out of the valve covers onto the headers.
Well, Wiggins needs help desperately. Jimmy Crowder, as we get a look at him, is currently running in fourth place in this race. There is Scott Taylor. Boy, it looks like he is just on cruise control now, knowing that all he has to do is finish this race in the current position with 1 lap to go to claim his second Pro Series championship in the same year.
Boy, what a fantastic year. And he make it look so easy to flick his truck around these corners. And believe me, Marty, it's not that easy.
Looks like Alan Walentowski's year is going to end on a disappointing note. Water spewing from the radiator. Look at how furious the team is. They're pulling it away. They're going to say, go ahead, go, get the points.
He's got that piece of cardboard off the front of the radiator, and it should cool it down now.
On board with Scott Taylor, you saw him wipe away some of the dirt that's been kicked up, but he has been in front. The only problem he's had is a little lap traffic.
Did you notice he shifts this truck? He uses a 4-speed transmission in this Class 7 truck now, which is kind of unusual for this form of racing.
Well, underneath that face mask, you know there has got to be a very big smile, as Scott Taylor is going to take home 2 of those trophies, 2 championships, after negotiating what amounts to be 3 more turns. Jeff Kincaid in second place, coming up on lap traffic, and boy, that truck's bouncing all over the place.
It's still smoking, so evidently it's just about for leaking. I also saw John Greaves go by. John has got running again. They black flagged him, but he's evidently running again.
Up over the last big jump for Scott Taylor from Belvedere, Illinois. He will bring a second championship to Ford in the 1993 season, winning here in Class 7S at the True Value World Championships. There's the checkered flag as Taylor does it in style, winning the race to claim the crown as he brings the truck to a halt in front of this huge crowd at Crandon, Wisconsin. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner at the True Value World Championship. Back at the True Value World Championships, let's check the final results in Class 7S. And boy, what a way to cap off a great 1993. Scott Taylor wins after taking the lead early from John Greaves and wins the championship as well in the 1993 World Series of Off-Road Racing here in the S.O.D.A World Championship. And before I give you this, I want to bring Ivan in here and let him sort of ask you about today's race. Great run.
Well, Scott, I tell you, we talk about what it takes to win here at Crandon, and we know you got to have horsepower, you got to have a good start, and you can't make mistakes here. And by golly, you did everything today perfect. You did a great job.
Thanks a lot, Ivan. I believe I have all 3 or 4 of them. We've been working real hard on keeping the little truck together. We had a tremendous year this year. Last year we had a rotten year. But, you know, bringing in the new motor program and focus, concentration, paying attention to details puts me up here with you guys.
I got to go back to Lake Geneva, though. I mean, the truck didn't finish the race. You were nowhere to be found, and I didn't expect to be giving you this.
Well, Marty, I tell you, I was wondering if the year wasn't going to start out the same way. But, you know, a few more bugs to work out. We finally found it, and since then, working with Jack Roush once again on that motor has been the key to our success this year in the little truck. It's been absolutely terrific.
Are you going to make me hold this, or are you going to take it from me?
No, I'm going to take it from you. Thank you, Marty.
Congratulations. Great job.
Thanks again. Thanks, Ivan.
Well, let's take a look at the final standings in the Pro Points Series. A 23-point margin for Scott Taylor, as Jim Wiggins just could not catch him and take over that position. Jeff Kincaid finishes 3rd, and on down through the top 10. It is interesting to note that of the 4 championships
Only one was decided prior to this season's competition. Now, one more that is yet to be decided is Class 910.